Hello, good evening. This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments so that I may answer your questions. I have a great topic to talk to you about today. I'm going to jump into the differences between applying for the marriage-based green card inside the United States and the spouse visa while you're outside of the United States. Both lead to the green card, whether you're in or out, but the way that the process works is slightly different, and sometimes it can be on a different timeline. So, of course, applying for the green card through your spouse is, while you're in the United States, is definitely convenient. And it also offers some additional benefits like your work permit. You get a travel document while you are waiting for the process to be completed. However, not everyone who qualifies for the green card through their spouse is going to qualify for adjustment of status. For instance, you can't necessarily be outside of the United States and then hop on a plane and then the next day apply for the green card through your spouse while you're in the US. That can lead to big problems. That's where it's very important before you do anything to get legal advice and representation to understand how you need to proceed in your process. Now, when you're going through, it's called adjustment of status, where you're here in the United States, you're married to a US citizen or even a legal permanent resident as a green card holder, and you want to stay here and apply for that green card. It's going to go like this. You're going to submit specific forms. Those forms are going to, the forms really depend on what's going on in your situation. The basic forms involved would be the adjustment of status form, the alien petition, so the petition to file for what they call to immigrant relative. That is going to be filed by the petitioner. The adjustment of status allows you as the immigrant to stay in the US to get your green card. Along with some additional supporting forms and documentation. The evidence is going to be very important. And it's not only the forms, but also the required documents that have to be attached in order for it to be properly processed and approved. Now, all of this allows you to stay in the US. And in certain situations, you can apply for this even if you're out of status. If, for example, you're the spouse of a US citizen and you came in legally, so you came in with a visa, you came in with permission, you were maybe inspected at the border, then you could apply for this benefit. If you didn't cross the border with permission, you may have a different procedure because the adjustment of status, if you're out of status, you do have to show that you legally entered and that you're the spouse of a US citizen. If you're the spouse of a permanent resident, then it's going to be a whole new process. It will not be adjustment of status if you're out of status. If you're in status, you're here on your B2, for example, or you're here on a student visa, and you have a permanent resident spouse, adjustment of status could be possible for you. So the main benefit here is you get to stay for the entire time, and you don't necessarily have to be stuck in the US while you're going through adjustment of status. You do have the ability to apply for a travel document if needed for you to leave the country if necessary. And some of my clients do that if they maybe have to go deal with family outside of the US or even work issues. Now, so just keep that in mind that even if you're out of status, you're married to a US citizen, you could still possibly qualify for this. And hear this, even if you qualify for adjustment of status, but say you were arrested or you ran into some other issues that you're afraid will affect your ability to get the green card, there may be ways to get forgiveness for those. So that's where you should schedule that consultation to talk about those more complex the matters to determine how to move forward. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the follows. Now let's talk about a situation where you're outside of the United States. Then what does that look like? Now, right now, if you're inside of the United States, my cases, many of my cases right now, currently, are taking anywhere from 6 months to 8 months. And I find that how long your process takes can really depend on other factors, like for example, those who apply on their own, they may run into problems because they're not attorneys. They don't necessarily understand the legal issues, and so they may not be as thorough in the application as they should be. They may not provide all the right evidence, and so that could cause delays. So another tip here is, if you want to avoid delays, make sure you get that representation to move forward. Now, what if you're outside of the United States? Your spouse is in the US as a US citizen or legal permanent resident, and you're outside of the United States as the immigrant. How does that work? Well, in this case, it's going to be a two-step process. So your spouse here is going to file a special petition proving the relationship. Evidence is going to be essential here. Right now, it's taking anywhere from 9 months to 12 months to get those approved. But once it's approved, it moves on to the embassy stage. So first, the National Visa Center prepares the approved petition and also additional documentation. That's where we work with the National Visa Center to get all of that ready. At that point, it then moves to the embassy for an interview. How long you have to wait for that interview comes down to the embassy and how backed up they are, or how many availabilities they have. Where the adjustment of status application can take anywhere from 6 to 8 months. The petition process, it can take anywhere from 9 months to even 18 months. And if there are further delays, maybe even 2 years. So if you have a pending I-130 and you're outside of the United States, just know that the approved I-130 isn't the end of your immigration journey. You still have a little more to go. Now, I gave you a quick summary of the differences between applying inside the US and outside of the US. I'm going to leave it up to you to schedule that consultation to discuss your situation and then get started based on you and your spouse, because I do help clients to get their green card, whether you're in the US or you're outside of the US. Now I'm going to jump to your questions. So let us go. On YouTube here, I see I applied for VAWA in April, got prima facie in June. Let's see. So got prima facie in June. And I submit my biometrics weeks ago. I was arrested last year, got charged with 2 misdemeanors, and the charge got down to a summary offense. Would that affect my work permit, also my green card? I submit a lot of evidence of the abuse and good moral character. So it may, Kareem, that's where it's very important to get that legal advice, because it really comes down to what are the charges, what was involved, what are the facts. You may need to do more in your case to get successfully complete the green card application, get legal advice and representation. Now, let us go to TikTok, where I'm going to go through all the questions. Thanks for your questions, and just hang tight while I get to yours. So I'm having issues with the I-864 form. Any tips? It depends on what those issues are. Get legal advice and representation. I can definitely represent you on that. I don't do forms during the consultation. So what you can do is schedule the consultation. Let me determine what your issues are, and then I can advise from there. I filed I-485 March 2020, not approved yet in Nebraska. So it depends on what type of adjustment of status you're applying for. Is it through family? Is it through a spouse? Is it through an employer? And what's going on in your case? So it hasn't been approved yet, but why not? And what kind of application do you have? I came from DR as a baby using another child's visa. I'm now 20 years old. What route should I take? Even though you came in with another child's visa using another name, that could count as inspection, and you may still be able to apply for adjustment of status through a US citizen spouse. But this is a more complex case. Keep in mind, this is not personalized legal advice, and that's where it's very important to get the legal advice you need to move forward. But based on this counts as inspection. If you came in with somebody else's visa, as to get through the legal issues and then to overcome that inadmissibility is going to be a little more complex, and you need to make sure you get in touch to schedule that consultation. If you'd like to schedule the consultation on TikTok, go to the link in the profile and you'll see all you need to schedule that appointment. Thanks for the follows. Thanks also for the love and sharing. I appreciate that. So, hi there. I have B1, B2. Should I marry my boyfriend in the US or let him come to my country? It really comes down to what the circumstances are. With the adjustment of status, it definitely comes with its benefits, but what's going on in your situation? Do you have work that you're committed to? Do you want to get married in your country so you can share that moment with family? And also how you enter. You can't come into the country with a B1, B2 with the intention to file for adjustment of status. Usually the successful cases here, they come here with the intention to visit and then change their mind along the way. So at this point, I think your question is too specific. You should schedule a consultation. Make sure you are doing the right steps before proceeding with the immigration. Could my boyfriend who had a green card marry me if I'm an immigrant? So green card holders can sponsor their immigrant spouses. However, the process you're going to follow is going to come down to a lot of follow-up questions. Those questions are going to include, are you here without status? Are you outside of the United States? The good news is that green card holders and US citizens are running on the same timeline to sponsor their relatives, their spouses. So there's no wait list right now. So marrying a permanent resident could be just as fast as going with a US citizen. However, if you're in status or out of status, the process might be different and may differ in complexity as well. So get that legal advice and representation. How long is the I-601A taking? So there can take anywhere from 6 months, but I'm seeing an average of a year and a half. Came from DR as a baby using another child's visa. So I answered that. There may be a pathway to adjust status. That means to stay in the United States through a US citizen, even a US citizen parent. But we would have to talk. These are very complex facts. We'd have to talk in a consultation. So get on it, schedule that consultation. What is going on with the interview? I keep getting 6 days, 1 year now. I'm not understanding that question. How long is taking the I-601? Been waiting 2 years and no answer. So what you can do, you can always check the processing times for where, for the service center it's at. If it's beyond the time that it's supposed to take, then at that point, get in touch with the USCIS or speak to your attorney if you already have an attorney. If the petitioner died, what must I do now? If the petitioner died and they were your US citizen spouse, there may be a way for you. You have 2 years after the death to apply as a widow or widower. If the petitioner is someone else, then there may be limited options. There may be options through humanitarian reinstatement, but it's going to depend on a lot of factors. That's where consultation is going to be very, very important. NVC just approved everything. I just waiting for the appointment in Juarez. How long to get the appointment? It really depends on the embassy and where it's at, I'm seeing an average of a year right now at embassies. Hi there, is this platform only US or UK? Also, I am only a US immigration attorney. Hi there on YouTube. So my wife is a green card holder. I submit my documents 4 months ago. How long are they going to? I wouldn't know that, how long they're going to reply. It just depends on what documents you submitted. So I wouldn't know. I'm not the attorney, and so it's hard to estimate how long you're going to get a response. I'd have to know what you submitted. Let's see. Is there any way to get maternity last name removed from Daca documentation? So maternal last name. So it may come down to a correction, but I'm not sure. You may have to do a correction on that. But I'm not sure what the situation is. Is that your legal name to have the maternal name on it? If not, then you'd have to show what your legal name is and have it corrected. How long is taking the I-601? So I answer that. If the petitioner died, what must I do now? You get a legal advice and a representation that may make a difference. NVC just approved. I answered that. Let me see. My mother filed for me from 2007. And since last year, I hear from them. The last thing they said, send for my mother's tax paper. So it sounds like they're ready to process your case for the immigrant visa. Nicola, if you're not understanding what you need to provide, that's where it's very important to get legal representation. This is what I do. I work with the National Visa Center to make sure everything is submitted correctly. This is going to be an essential stage, and it also is that stage that can lead to a year of delays or to a regular standard processing time. But if you go wrong at this stage, it can lead to a world of problems and delays. So get that legal advice and representation. Thanks for the share. I appreciate it. Thanks for the follow. Should I apply for my visa if I have a green card pending? So, if you have a green card pending, it may lead to a denial, right? There's nothing that says you can't try, but you definitely have to overcome the suspicion that you're going to come to overstay in the US, because now you've shown you have immigrant intent. So you have to go in with some good evidence. How long is the I-140 taking? So I'm seeing 9 months to 12 months. What's the cost for the consultation? It's $150 for up to an hour. And this is a detailed consultation. So we go through all your facts to evaluate all your immigration options, and then I advise accordingly. So you submitted the I-130, 4 months. Please, how long is it going to be? So the I-130 is taking about a year to get a decision, 9 months to a year to get a decision. Is applying in the US faster than applying in my country? It may be. I am seeing my cases. They are varying between 6 months to 8 months. That does not mean that that I am going to achieve those same results in the future with future clients. However, I am seeing that trend. And so that's great for adjustment of status. But with the countries outside of the United States, I am still seeing them go over a year or approaching a year. Good day. How far are they now with priority dates? March 2018. So you'd have to check the National Visa Bulletin. And I don't have that in front of me right now. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. All right, so I am going to be heading on over to Instagram now. The Instagram is The Immigration Attorney, same as here on TikTok. You can join me there if you want to continue to have this conversation. Thanks so much for all the follows. I appreciate it. I see, please, how long to get the VAWA C9 work permit? So I'm seeing from 6 months to even up to a year to get that. So let's go ahead, join me on Instagram. I'm The Immigration Attorney. I'm also going to be on Facebook at ST Law Office. So either one works. It's the same as here, The Immigration Attorney. I hope to see you in a quick minute on Instagram. Thanks so much for your time. I'm going to work on being here tomorrow at 4:30, 4 o'clock. So around 4 o'clock p.m. to continue to answer your questions and give you really good information. So if you didn't get your answers, the questions or the answers here, you can always catch me on another day like tomorrow. All right. And thanks so much for your support and your encouragement. I appreciate it. All right. Have a good one. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.